Hey everyone, it's Loza, and we're here with Andrew. He's won 3 locals in a row with Imperial. I'll let him take you through the profile.
What's up, everyone? Look, we're back on Imperial. We've made a few small changes since I last did it, so it's not a meme. We're not just copying the same list like we did Adventure a few weeks back. But obviously, there's a fair few things which stay pretty similar through Imperial, but there's always a few niche little things you can change. And I'll talk about it a little bit later, but since the ban list, there is actually a little bit of difference that's beside the meme. But we've still got our BT12 Demi V for draw power. There's no other possible egg to go for. It's just the most consistent draw power, and drawing lets you make your DNA plays, 4 times in a turn. That's how you do it. You need your pieces. Four of the best Veemon, obviously your best searcher. Nothing new there. We're up to 3 promo Veemons. This is something that I've literally gone anywhere between 1 and 4 of at some point in history. I've increased it at the moment for 2 reasons. One is because we are running the new Digimon from BT21. Second being that now that we have Stingmon limited from the structure deck, it's a little bit understated, but the deck actually did lose quite a bit of consistent draw power. And most unfair things Imperial does, in my opinion, is the classic kind of swing twice, make dragon mode, split up, swing twice, swing twice, swing twice. And the way you typically do that is you need to, of course, have your pieces assembled, and that requires draw power, which is where this Veemon comes in to help substitute that. It is a bit of a tricky one. You have to play around specifically when you're using with your dual tamer, because if you ever forget that this is not an end of turn DNA, that sometimes doesn't let you do the same cheeky plays that you might otherwise do. If you have the dual tamer out, usually you can play around it pretty easy, but if you're trying to hard slam a level 4 afterwards, it just doesn't work. And then, of course, he just goes into Ladramon for free, which is just easy draws. And this new Ladramon, I didn't love the old one, but this one is just unsuspends anything and get the free draws with this guy, so he's great. So apart from that, we've cut down to one of the BT16 Wormmon. I still think this guy's obviously amazing. At the moment, I'm just trying to build with Ladramon and cutting back on the worms a little bit. But I'd still happily run this at higher amounts, but, one's okay for now. 4 counterpart worm for the searchy boys. That's great. Still on 2 promo wormmons, because this does search medieval gallant. It does search your return to the primogenitor, and it's also just your 9 and 10 slot of 10 rookies that have end of turn DNA. In my opinion, you always want to have a very large rookie account in Imperial if you plan to use your Davis Ken. If you run a normal amount of kind of 10 to 12, you just got to run out of rookies to play. So I always try and up that count. I believe at the moment we're at 14, and I wouldn't go any lower than that in Imperial. In most other decks, I could go down as low as 12, but again, you want a few excess ones that you can always bring down, especially if you have multiple Davis Kens. So, top of that, new Ladramon as a cool one of just as to kind of round out your 4s and 5s. Sorry, your greens and blues for your 4s to go into your 5s. It's okay. Obviously, 3 cost over Wormmon is very expensive, so you always want to pair it with a V. And it's got a very expensive hard play, so I did like this at 2 at the start. I've dropped it down to 1 because I just found sometimes I needed to hard slam a blue or a green, and playing it for 6 felt bad. However, evolving it for 2 or 1 or 2, depending on which V1 you have out, feels pretty good. So, pretty cool card. 4 memory gain XP, probably best single card in the deck. Our 1 structure deck, 1 lonely boy. Again, it's not the craziest hit, but I think it's a little bit understated, the consistency that the deck lost from having this. There was an average game before the hit. I think I would draw no less than like 5 to 8 cards with this kind of Stingmon, which led to the consistency and speed. We've now moved back to 4 of our BT12 Stingmon. I did have 3 of this and 2 Largemon previously, but I kind of figured at the moment, I'm just going all in on the memory tamers and the dragon modes to just kind of memory print. And I just want to end games quickly and just gain 2 memory, go into this, go into dragon mode, spit them out, gain 2 memory, promo into another dragon mode, and just try and swing, 2, 4, 6 times in a turn if I had the resources. We've got 2 of the old Imperialdramon for double swings, and yeah, niche comes up that bottom decking 6k or lower, sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes better than the other Imperialdramon, but most of the time this is just, hey, at double swings, but if you leave this and you're not winning the game, this is going to get removed and you're not going to get partitioned, so it feels bad, but it is what it is. You can only run 4 of the other one. I have cut the 7th level 5 at this point. I don't know if I'll stand by that or not, but at the moment, I didn't want any more of them. The other ones from BT12, it's okay, but really you just want to see the BT16 one. It's always been the star of the show. This is what lets you just win games because your opponent can go as wide as they want. It doesn't matter, they can't swing. So that's fine. For our, I guess we'll just go through the order as it is, but fighter modes, we've got the BT21. This is slowly but surely becoming my favorite fighter mode. Obviously, there's a few things that work with it and a few things that don't. So your worms and your Veemons can search it because that has Imperial in its name. However, obviously your Davises miss it. So there is a little bit of inconsistency there. You can't hard evolve this over any of your 5s. It really can only go on to the Dragon mode in this build, which is fine. You generally don't have a hard time getting to that, but this just seals games, especially against, say, Royal Knights, for example. If you're going for the kill and you can do this without passing turn, you guarantee that they can't get out that sneaky Omekamon play. And you're also trashing your security while you're at it, as long as you're always, of course, going on top of a Dragon mode, which is all you're going to do in this version of the deck. We're back on 1 BT12 fighter mode. It just seems to be an interesting way, like a bit of a utility box that you can go 1-1-1 with the BT16 ace as well too. There are just some decks, for example, Yellow Liberator, so the Puppamon stuff, which goes super wide. So it is sometimes a pretty interesting play to kind of strip their materials. Ideally, you're doing a combo, you're comboing off with Imperialdramon and Davis Kens and stripping materials, and then if you need to, you can do this combo with Dragon into to bottom deck the whole board. It's not essential, but it's pretty cool, and the blocker and security +1 does come up from time to time, so I'm enjoying it back in the deck at 1, but you could easily drop this for a second Virus Imperial or a second Ace or something else entirely, but I'm enjoying it so far, so we'll see if we keep that. I'm on just 2 of the structure deck Dragon modes again. I don't think I need 3, and I'm not currently running the BT16 one. I've just gone all in on this strategy in terms of all I want to do is make this Imperialdramon, make this guy as cheap as possible, which is either going to be from cracking memory boost, hidden potential discovered, or return to the Primogenitor. I just want to be able to do this without passing turn, spit out one of these each, make another Imperialdramon, gain 2 memory, swing twice, and in an ideal world I play another one, go into another Dragon mode, split, swing twice, and there's very few games that aren't done by that point. So this is what allows that to go, and with ever since we got Return to the Primogenitor, this became such a joke to get out. 4, it was hard to keep turn, but when you're just paying 2 for it with added protection afterwards, yeah, it got way better. There is an argument, obviously, to run the BT16 one as well too, to help play around certain ace cards and things like that. But I found that now we've got this fighter mode, it's just not usually needed, and most aces you can play through just from having partition. Obviously, Digivolve is another story, but yeah, I think it's fun. 2 Hexablow. I mean, this card's just a custom card. It's just nuts. We know that for a long time. Stripping materials. Basically, there's just games where I've been at no security and held someone off for turns and turns at a time because they just couldn't get a bigger stack than this. So when you make a, Imperialdramon with ideally 5 or 6 materials under it, depending on how you do it, stripping your opponent's materials, then going into this guy, shuffling a Tamer back, stripping even more materials, and you say, hey, you got to have more than 6 or 7 materials to be able to swing. Plus, this has partition if they hard out it because it's going to have Imperialdramon at its sources. There's a huge amount of synergy in the deck. The only synergy this doesn't have is that Veemon will not give it jamming because it's not a free trait. But apart from that, it does most of the. It's probably best in this deck. Maybe arguably better in Galaxy, but there's pros and cons to each. 1 Fighter Ace. Yeah, it's still just nice to have at least an ace around. It's still a good way to swing twice per turn. Like, I kind of wish this card just existed with a more expensive cost and just wasn't an ace. Because it's got a really good effect just for Digivolving 2 and just bottom decking things anyway. But still nice to have it and put the fear that your opponent, that there's going to be an ace and have extra targets for Primogenitor to evolve Dragon modes into. 1 Gallantmon Medieval Gallantmon, as mentioned, searchable from the promo Wormmon. It still comes up to out certain boards. Like, I used to love this a lot more when we were dealing with Mirage Gargamon, because I needed that out. now it's not as necessary. Like I could consider even dropping it, but it's Medieval Galmon. It just does dumb stuff, and it just deals with a heap of rogue decks, and even some meta decks. So card's pretty good, and naturally you can, as I've mentioned in previous ones, you can Evo over your fives because they're green and he's green. Like there's just some synergy there,
Don't
and
forget
also
the
searchable
random
Davis.
synergy with the Tamer. It's funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. It's got synergy with Davis. I think it's got synergy with this one as well too, because it's when it's digivolves into a blue or green Digimon. So you can, if you digivolve in on your five, you can tap this to gain memory. This guy searches it because it's green. Yeah, it's kind of got tamer. It's got synergy with all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I mean more you play out a guy at the start of your main and then it triggers Medi and you
Oh,
can
true.
pop something.
Yeah. Oh, look. There's. Oh, yeah. That synergy never stops. Yeah, yeah. So you
It's
can.
really funny.
Yeah, you're right. So start a turn, you can use that. If by some miracle this is stay on board for the next turn, you can trigger it for free by this guy bringing something down, or just hard playing stuff. Like there's a million ways to trigger Medieval Galmon. The card's busted. It's so good. So this has just always been the golden ratio of Davis and Ken's, like two memory setter, four of this, consistency, memory setting, and then doing all the broken stuff. I love this tamer. It's so ridiculously broken. I just hate when it happens more often than it should, where I have two to three of these on the field and I've just got no rookies to play off it. But even if you get one rookie a turn with multiple, it's still really, really good. And remember, don't get too stingy about tapping these for memory. Like if source stripping doesn't do a lot on the board at the time, this just says every one of your Evos gets a discount, which is really cool. Two Primos in conjunction with the Hidden Potential. This is all just to, again, 9 out of 10 times this is to just get me from Imperialdramon to Dragon Mode for either 2 or 0. Primo's actually arguably better, even if you had more HPDs. Like, obviously this is 0, but the it's much more often that you don't have an extra body out to tap in this deck for the Hidden Potential until the much later game. Whereas in the earlier game, it's much more feasible to have the memory and to be able to like get yourself back to 2 memory, use this, go to 0, dragon mode, split, again, uh, DNA, gain 2 memory, double swing, do it again. Like there's a lot of potential in that respect. HPD obviously just does broken things. One of my favorite interaction with HPD is probably in a really grind game is going from any of my sixes here into this guy for 0. Sorry, so all the Imperial Dramons will go into this for 0 because the -5, and I can still do it for medieval as well, but it'll be 1 instead of 0, and that's just a game closer, of course. And lastly, I know I've done this in a weird order, but lastly, the 2 Jade memory boost. I still think this is really good. It's kind of like running extra Davises, except you're not running the redundancy of 4 memory to not gain you any extra memory down the track, and still like kind of facilitating a similar function. There's so many good reasons to have this. I think some of it is, for example, when I know I've got an opponent who's playing a deck which consistently wipes my cards off the board. Um, if I have this and I have Veemon in hand and I'm only really looking for one card and I know my opponent just keeps bouncing or killing my things, I'd almost rather play the Jade, knowing that I can get the same result. I'm not going to have a body removed, and I'm going to be able to crack this for 2 memory later when I go for a big play. So this is kind of like a pseudo, you know, ninth and 10th rookie, searcher rookie. And yeah, there's obviously just some silly plays that can happen when you have not only all this memory gain and memory cheat, but then you just get raw memory on top. Yeah, there's of course great things that can happen, and just another great thing that can be hidden security. Like the deck doesn't really run any technically any security bombs. However, hitting any of the tamers is usually pretty devastating for the opponent.
Oh yeah.
Nothing like hitting Davis Ken on the first check.
Oh, it's so
Um,
bad. It seals the
yeah.
game, I swear.
My most common thing is hitting Primo in security, but then I don't have a tamer to pray for it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but even but even that's fine. Like just having it in the battle area for free is pretty cool. So this is all the stuff that's pretty good in security, but nothing that's gonna, if your opponent has 5 checks or 6 checks on the field, then there's not much this deck can do. Really, you're there to control the board with the stun. Maybe some aces can help out, but you're usually racing them down and trying to be the fastest. So this deck has quite a good Royal Knights matchup. It's generally just a bit too quick for Royal Knights, as well as Royal Knights just have a tendency to not have sources. So Suspending them is very easy with Imperialdramon. Additionally, when you're going for the kill, as I said, definitely you go for this fighter mode play to make sure that they don't hit you with that last check a Mechamon into Omni X warp off turn, because that could definitely hurt you. Whereas this just kind of seals the deal, trashes it, locks them out, and it's done. Sometimes they just won't have that as well, and you're just going for checks way too quickly, and all they can do is play a cool boy, and you're just like, okay, cool, I guess I get another free 2 checks, and yeah, it's got some great matchups at the moment. There are some tough matchups. I think, ironically, Galactimon's like quite difficult for the same reason it is for Adventure, because I spend all this memory putting these Tamers out, and Destromon just keeps kind of getting, wrecking it. So I think it's got a pretty good spread. So been very happy with it. I think I'll probably take it to our upcoming regionals. I might make a last minute decision to go back to Adventure or Veemon, but I think I'm pretty happy with where this is at. And if I just happen to run into the hard counter, then it is what it is.
All right, fair enough. Thank you for the knowledge and the list. And good luck at that event. I'm sure we'll all be dropping our lists over that when we win, right?
Yeah, exactly. Taking the best deck, so we'll see how we go. That's only from data recording. That's like, what, week and a half away?
Yeah, 2 weekends away. That's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Easy.
All right, we'll
thank you
catch
very
us
much.
then. See you, man.
Cheers.